3rd of August, the number of the day is 52 because it's 52 cents, which is good news for those, Francis Hurd, who drive petrol cars. I'm not going to mention diesel. I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, the good news is the petrol price for people like me. Petrol going down by 52 cents per litre. The bad news for people like you is that diesel is going up by R1.23 or R1.38, depending on your sulfur content. Yeah. But it's still good news, even for diesel drivers. Partly because by the end of last week, petrol prices and diesel prices are usually linked to the price of oil and the rand, the dollar rand exchange rate. And by the end of last week, it was looking like there would be hardly a drop in petrol, a few cents, tiny little drop. And it was looking like diesel could go up by R2. So in fact, you've escaped that. And the highest price for diesel will go up by R1.38. And the reason for that is because the government announced today, this very day, that they have some scope to drop what's called a Slate levy. So that's why it's looking better than expected for all of us.
I heard about what is a Slate levy?
So a Slate levy is basically an evening out tool. So what we do is to make sure that your petrol price or your diesel price doesn't change every day, is government announces regulated prices so we're entering August, right? And on Wednesday, things are going to change. That's what we're talking about. It's the first Wednesday of every month. So August price will be based on the average prices of oil and the rand exchange for the previous month of July. So we get this evening out tool, and then the Slate levy is an additional one, because if in the month of July there is a big spike or a big drop, that affects the people who import fuel, because suddenly they have to pay a whole lot more, and the averaging out doesn't help them when there's something significant that happens. So government keeps track of that and keeps the Slate levy. It's basically just an accounting tool, but essentially there's a levy to help those importers, and it evens things out. But when they've got scope to, they drop the levy. So it means that at some point there was a surplus in the Slate levy, which I understand means at some point there was quite a dramatic drop in the oil price. So the Slate levy has gone from R1.14 to 61 cents. So it's reduced dramatically, and that's why we're looking better.
It's much better, I think, than having prices changing almost on a daily basis, especially for those of us with a diesel price at the moment. Speaking of which, now I like to ask this every time there's a major jump in the fuel price, as you say, every first Wednesday of the month. What are we looking like when compared to the pre-war months? The Iran war I'm talking about in this case, up to numbers. I would have thought there would be much wider swings with all the news coming out of that.
So that's interesting. And I went and looked. So this is the most expensive form of fuel that I'm looking at, petrol rather, which is in Gauteng, because remember it also has to be transported to Gauteng. So we're looking at 95 unleaded in Gauteng. Before the war, it cost R20.10. Mm-hmm. We are now on R26.10, but we're going down by 52 cents. So we're just under 26 Rand. So your increase is about 6 Rand during the war. Within that, there were fluctuations. In June, we reached a record high, above 28 Rand, but we've come down since then. So between sort of February and now, the duration of the war, remember the war started in Feb, you've gone up by 6 Rand per litre. So maybe it could be worse, given what the world has experienced, but it's still significant. It's 6 Rand per litre.
And just as we land the plane on this one, so it could have been worse, obviously, especially for the petrol price. But diesel, it's always true and always, I think, important to remind everyone that diesel is your industrial fuel. So come Wednesday, we're going to start seeing concerns from farmers on all those farming vehicles, the trucks use diesel. And it does have that sort of second order effect, which we start looking out for every time there's a big jump in diesel, don't we?
Yes, it has a huge economic effect because remember, so much is transported on road rather than rail, while South Africa is trying to fix up the railways. Luckily, agriculture has been okay. And remember, we've had some good news from the agricultural sector, but they keep on warning that your two main costs are diesel, transport. Everything has to be transported from the farm to the warehouse to the retail stores, and fertilizer, which has also been impacted by the war. So yes, we will have those concerns, and we will have, again, calls for the levies to be looked at, the taxes. Remember, about a third of our petrol price is taxes. And the AA, again, said to us today, government should really try and see if there's any waste there and stop those taxes. But for now, let's take the good news, 52 cents per litre, petrol coming down, diesel increasing, but not as much as expected.